You complete me.
Hey guys, this is Christopher Kokoski with writingbeginner.com. Today I want to talk to you about 5 steamy ways to build romantic tension between characters. Well, I'm going to share with you my 5 best tips. So make sure you watch all the way in to the end of this video so you don't miss anything.
Just
shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.
Now, I just posted on my website at writingbeginner.com 2 very long-form articles related to this idea. I'm going to put the links in the description of this video. One of the articles is about how to write sexual tension, and the other article is about how to write erotica. Both relate to this idea of romantic tension. So here's tip number 1. You have to know what romantic tension is to be able to build it. So what is romantic tension? Romantic tension, quite simply, is desire unfulfilled. 2 characters really want to be with each other, but they can't.
A little bit too aggressive.
yeah, I guess when I see something, I go right after it.
No.
No?
No. I don't date students.
And everything in your story has to be filtered through this idea of desire unfulfilled. Does the dialogue create desire that's unfulfilled? Does the scene create desire that's unfulfilled? Does the setting create desire that's unfulfilled? Okay, tip number 2 is that there's actually 2 different types of romantic tension. The 2 types are positive and negative romantic tension. Now, positive romantic tension is about the certainty and hope of the relationship. It is the promise and increasing certainty of a relationship. It's when 2 people are showing desire for each other, they're moving closer to a clear and certain relationship, to being able to fulfill that tension. In a way, positive romantic tension is all about anticipation and optimism.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
But it's really about certainty. Negative romantic tension is the opposite. Negative romantic tension is about uncertainty, and it creates fear and anxiety. So let me give you some examples to hopefully make this crystal clear. Positive romantic tension is when 2 characters are together and maybe they're flirting, or they're on a date, or they're doing something that's leading them closer to being certain in a relationship. The flip side of this is negative romantic tension. This is the anxiety that the relationship is never going to happen, or the anxiety about fulfilling that tension, releasing that tension, and actually getting fulfillment. So this can be looking at our cell phones and wondering, why won't they text? Why haven't they called me? Do they even like me?
Why didn't you write me? Why? It wasn't over for me. I waited for you for 7 years. Now it's too late.
And it can also be this feeling of dread, knowing that if I give into this relationship, if I release this tension and date this person or sleep with this person, I might lose my job, I might lose my friends. There's some kind of negative consequence that has to do with the story stakes and the personal stakes of the character that are at risk. Knowing both of those types of tension and being able to balance them and to shift back and forth between those 2 different types of romantic tension in your story is a powerful way to not only create tension, but to build romantic tension between characters. Okay, here's the 3rd tip. Is you build romantic tension in 2 ways. You either increase the desire or you decrease the character's ability to release the tension. Romantic tension, remember, is based on 2 factors. It's based on how much the characters desire each other and their inability to be able to fulfill that desire. So to build, amplify, and escalate romantic tension between 2 characters, you have to focus on one or both of those two variables. You either increase how much the characters like and love and want each other, or you decrease their ability or likelihood of actually fulfilling and getting together. Increase desire, decrease ability. That's how you build tension. So how does that play out in an actual story? Let me give you a concrete example. I don't know about you, but I really like concrete examples so that I can take this tool and apply it to my story. You increase tension by increasing desire. And you increase desire by having the characters like each other or want each other more. So maybe it started off as just a physical attraction, but now it's moved into an emotional attraction, a mental attraction, a spiritual attraction. The other person is more attractive to one of the characters or both of the characters. They want each other more. Anytime you increase desire for each other, you're increasing the tension.
Could you give me some tension, please?
Now, how do you also decrease the ability for the characters to actually get together? Another way to put that is to increase their inability to get together. Maybe the reason they're not together in the first place or can't get together in the first place is that they are on the opposite sides of some sort of legal battle. Maybe they're on opposite legal teams in some lawsuit that's going on in a town. So that's what's keeping them apart. And that's really important tension. You have to have something to keep the characters apart so they don't just get together. Increase their inability to get together by making it even harder for them to get together. So maybe the lawsuit gets even more powerful, more important to the town or to the characters. Maybe some of the other lawyers drop off and it's really just them two as opposing legal teams now, and they're the only people supporting their side. You just do something to make it more important for them to stay apart and not actually to get together. Okay, tip number 4 is now that you've built romantic tension, how do you maintain it throughout the course of your story? Add more and more interruptions. This is the almost kiss that's interrupted by a phone call or somebody coming into the room or into the scene. This is interrupting the characters from actually getting together. You can accomplish interruptions in all kinds of different ways, and honestly, I recommend you use lots of variety in the types of interruptions so you don't just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again in your story. Have lots of variety of ways to interrupt the characters from actually getting together and releasing that tension. You want to prolong the tension as much as possible now that you've created it and you've started to build it. It should really escalate over the course of the story as the characters desire each other more and are less able to actually fulfill that desire. So that's one way that you can prolong romantic tension between two characters. You can simply interrupt them in different ways throughout the story. Now, that's a good start, but you can even make that escalated and even more potent in the story to prolong tension by adding more and more story stakes.
Can't do this. Can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't.
What do you say?
I can't see you anymore.
Okay, the fifth and final way to build romantic tension between two characters is to force them together. Now that you have raised the desire, you've raised the story stakes, and you've decreased their ability to get together, now what I want you to do is force the characters together as much as possible. That will bring the tension boiling to the surface. Maybe your two main characters are stuck in an elevator together. They cannot escape each other's presence. So this tension is thick in the air. Maybe they are asked by the school board to work together on some event or some project. So they're forced to be together. They can't just run away and hide from the tension, and neither can the reader.
We're getting married. We are getting married.
Who is getting married?
You and I are getting married. Yes.
We are.
Getting married.
The reader wants the characters together because it's a more compelling read. So the way to really, really build escalate, prolong, and amplify romantic tension in your story between two characters is to force those characters together as often as possible, especially near the end of the middle and the end of your story. Things should really start to heat up there at the end. By the way, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, hit the like button to this video, hit the little notification bell so that you know every time that I release a new video. I'm releasing videos every week for you about all kinds of topics, about writing, about blogging, about how to make money as a writer. Let me know in the comments what ways that you like to build romantic tension in your stories, and if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching this video, by the way. I'll see you at the next one.
Denny, is this the end?
Of course not. It's only the beginning.